Hey, you guys. Welcome to our gut health phone call. My name is Laura Prejean, and most of you probably know me. If not, I am your upline, who knows where, but I'm one of your upline. I'm an Emerald ambassador. I've been with Plexus for 2 years, and I am super excited to be sharing three of my rock stars on my team who are going to help us today to inform you guys more about gut health and how incredibly important it is for our business, for ourselves, our own health, and what we can do to help heal our gut and start getting us healthy. So I'm happy to introduce to you today Stephanie Williams. She is a silver ambassador with Plexus, and she's going to be talking to us today. I've got Holly Bass as well. She is a gold ambassador. And I have got Sonia Etchemendy, who is also a gold ambassador. They're going to be taking turns today, telling you guys a little bit of a science lesson and telling you how Plexus can be incorporated in it. So I'm going to start off by introducing Stephanie to you. She is going to be just telling you the science behind our gut, okay? So Stephanie, if you will take it away, we would love to hear more about our gut.
All right. So I'm Stephanie Williams. I'm just going to go over briefly why gut health is important and why everybody needs to know what your gut does to your body. So what's interesting is that Hippocrates said all diseases begin in the gut, and that was almost 2,000 years ago. So if he said it way back then, obviously it's important, and we're just now getting to this era where people are discovering that the gut is connected to your body and brain and can affect so much more than just your stomach. So I'm going to kind of go down my notes and anyway, so here we go. The gut is the storehouse of your physical and mental health. Most people know that gut health can affect you physically, but it can also affect your mental health as well. Nearly every small illness that we have is caused by a suppressed immune system, and your gut kind of controls your immune system that you have. So the gut can affect your mental health because it has its own nervous system, which is called the enteric nervous system. So your gut actually functions on its own, but still talks to the brain. Your gut has 500 million neurons in it. And I found this quote from a website called The Connection. It's all about your gut health. And anyway, it's fantastic. You need to look it up. But they said they're calling it the gut, the second brain, because while it talks to the brain, it also has the ability to act independently and influence your behavior. So like I said, a lot of people know that it can affect you physically, but it very much can affect your behavior too. So 95% of your serotonin is created in your gut. And so if you don't know what serotonin is a neurotransmitter that your gut houses. I did some research on serotonin, and basically, if you do not have enough serotonin in your system, so you have a lack of serotonin, it can cause depression. It can cause incorrect perception of pain, lack of perception and hunger. So if you don't have serotonin, you're just going to eat a lot, or you're not going to eat enough. You also can have gastrointestinal function that does not work right. So basically, if you have enough serotonin, you're going to be in a better mood. You're going to have a healthy appetite, so you're not going to eat too much, but you're also not going to eat too little. And you're going to be able to kind of evaluate the pain that you have in your body better. So it's not going to be exaggerated, or it's not going to be ignored. So actually, there was a study done by the University of Cambridge, and they did a study on responsive hunger. And so what they did is that everybody in the study had a lack of serotonin in their diet. and they did it on purpose to see how your body would react. And they noticed that a lot of the participants started to get moody. They started gaining weight. Anyway, it was just obviously not a good situation. But when they kind of scanned their body, they noticed that the connection between the anger part of your brain and the calm part of your brain was very weak. So people would exaggerate their feelings, and they became more aggressive because that connection between the anger and the calm of your brain was weakened from the lack of serotonin. So just real quick, a lot of y'all, have probably heard the word inflammation thrown around, particularly if you have an illness. But basically, if your body is damaged, you're going to have inflammation. It can be due to injury, it can be due to illness, disease, whatever. But inflammation is basically a defense mechanism that your body takes on. So when it starts to realize that your body is not healthy, it tries to protect it by causing inflammation, which then, it can cause pain in us. It can cause other health issues also. So inflammation can be caused, like I said, by injury. It can be caused by chemical or toxin exposure, and it can also be biological. So there's a lot of things that can cause inflammation in the body, and it's something to be aware of. When I had started Plexus, I did not realize how much could cause inflammation. So this was very interesting to me. Inflammation in your body, it's basically adapting and surviving. So like I said, it's a defense mechanism. Chronic disease is systemic. And systemic means that it doesn't just affect one area in your body. So, and I know so many people out there that have chronic diseases, and the gut can affect that. If you do not have a healthy gut, it can become, or it could become a chronic disease. So basically, without gut health, leaky gut can become an issue for anyone. And if you do not know what leaky gut is, basically what happens is you have a lot of buildup in your stomach, and we're going to talk about that in a second. There's a lot of buildup in your stomach, and you start to create small holes in your stomach lining. Therefore, the food proteins that you eat, food goes into your stomach. And so some of those food particles or food protein get into your bloodstream because of those small holes. And so when they get into your bloodstream, your body is like, what's going on? I don't know what's happening. And so it starts to cause inflammation because it's trying to defend your body. And so the food proteins that are in your bloodstream, your body's attacking it, which then can cause so many health issues. And if you know what autoimmune diseases are, autoimmune means that your body is attacking itself. And so when you have leaky gut and those food proteins are in your bloodstream, your body is attacking itself because it's trying to figure out what in the world's going on. And so it can, which then leads to autoimmune disorders, eczema, arthritis, multiple sclerosis, anxiety, depression. So all of that is very much a big deal in gut health, and you need to be aware of what leaky gut is so that you can fix it. So, but these lovely ladies are going to talk about that in just a second. Some of the books that I would recommend for you to read if you're interested in kind of learning more about this, Grain Brain by David Perlmutter. It's kind of hard to say, but it's Perlmutted. He's an MD, so he has an MD degree. So he's highly educated in gut health and how to heal it with natural foods and all that. But he talks about leaky gut and candida overgrowth and what all of that means. Then there's also the Myers Way. This is also kind of a diet book. She explains it very well too. And that's by Amy Meyer, MD. One of the things that I found interesting though in researching this was that in the lining of your stomach, you have two tissues that protect your stomach, and they are called oh, hang on, let me look at my notes. It's called submucosal plexus. So plexus is actually part of our body. Plexus means, the definition of plexus is nerves or vessels in the body. So a submucosal plexus is the inner side of your stomach lining. And then mucosal plexus is the outside lining of your stomach. So that's just kind of something interesting that that I think we all need to know. So basically, that's why gut health is important, because it affects all aspects of your body.
Hey, okay, thank you so much, Stephanie. That is really, really good information. And I think it's really neat that we, as Plexus ambassadors, can inform people about this, because I think that the vast majority of Americans, especially, are very uneducated when it comes to gut health. And sometimes they just think it's those crunchy people, that are concerned about it. But we all have gut, and
Yeah.
the majority of us have ones that are very unhealthy. So Stephanie also has a fantastic testimony herself when it comes to gut health and the Plexus products that she's been taking. So Stephanie, will you please tell us your testimony real fast? We'd love to hear it.
Absolutely. So my story starts when I was in high school, my junior year. I'd gotten really sick, and so bad that I had to be homebound. And basically what was happening is that my joints were getting really swollen. I would have a fever of 104 every day, and then it would drop to 95 degrees and then go back up to 104. And it was just not a good time in my life. And I was out of school for about 4 months. I was finally diagnosed with Still's disease, which is basically arthritis, but with more stuff to it. So it took me a while to get to where I could walk again or dress myself. And obviously, I was put on a lot of medication. I took about 10 pills a day, and it was just a lot. But I didn't know any better. I just did what the doctors told me to do. And so then I was put on an injection, and I was on that injection for 7 years. And so then I went to college. Well, in college, I started getting like tingling feelings in my fingers and hands. And I didn't really think much about it, but later on, when I graduated from college, I realized that I was getting another autoimmune disorder. And I had finally got off my injections. I got that approved by my doctor. And my symptoms just kept on getting worse with this tinglingness. And my legs would give out. I would have a really sharp pain going down my hands. I'm a band director, so in the classes that I taught, a lot of, I clap for beats and all of that. And when I would clap, one of my hands would just go numb, and I couldn't move it, I couldn't do anything with it. And so, as a teacher, it's hard to put on a brave face in front of your students. Anyway, it was really frustrating for me, because I would go to doctors, and they basically told me that they couldn't diagnose me yet, and with all the stuff happening. And then a doctor said, well, you know what? I think it was caused by the injections that you took when you were in high school. And sure enough, on the label of the injections, it said 0.01% of people that take this medicine will then have MS. And so 5 years later, battling the symptoms of MS, I was finally diagnosed. And during that time, I did not want to get on any more medication. And so I really kind of dug into the eating healthy aspect of it. Not necessarily gut health at that time, but I did a lot of research on the paleo diet, and that's what I do now. I found foods that trigger inflammation and are not good for me. And so I started the paleo diet. It made my good days better, but my worst days were still bad, if that makes sense. Um, so I continue to eat like this with paleo, trying to exercise as best I could. And I looked into all kinds of like oils and non-traditional forms of medication and like teas, and never in a million years did I think I would be this person. But in researching, I found out a lot about my body, and finally I just got to the point to where I was just fed up with being tired all the time, and not just tired, but like I could barely keep my eyes open, and I had to go to sleep when I got home from work. And I mean, it was just ridiculous. Anyway, I found my friend Emily, and she was selling Plexus, and I was like, okay, I need to try this. So I got a 3-day pack. It instantly changed my energy levels, which I loved. And and so I kind of waited. I was that person that was skeptical. And I was like, well, maybe it was just like a one-time thing. And so I waited. And in the month of June, I went to my doctor, and they're like, well, we're going to put you on injections again. And that was the one thing I was trying to avoid. And so I got the injections, and they were incredibly painful. I can't walk 30 minutes after I give them to myself. Um, and so I immediately contacted Emily. I was like, okay, I'm doing this Plex thing, and I'm signing up, and we're doing this. And since then, I have not looked back. I can do hot yoga, which, if you know MS is very sensitive to different uh, temperatures. So like really hot can affect me and really cold can affect me. But I can do hot yoga, and it's awesome. I work out all the time. My energy is up, and people ask me all the time, they're like, how do you have that much energy? And I'm like, it's natural from Plexus. But anyway, so my MS symptoms have, I won't say disappear, because I still have some bad days, but it's when I push myself too much. Like I've worked an 82-hour week last week, and but my energy, I would not have been able to do that a year ago. So anyway, that's just a little bit of my testimony, and Plexus has absolutely 100% changed my life, and I feel like I'm finally me again. So anyway, gut health is important. I've been taking the triplex combo for a year now, or over a year. So anyway, highly encourage you to kind of look into gut health and how Plexus can help that.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to get back on. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Her testimony is one of my favorites. I love it. I love those life-changing testimonials where people are just kind of getting their lives back, getting things under control, being able to live and do hot yoga and things like that. To me, that sounds just awful. But whatever floats your boat.
It's amazing.
I know people love it though. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. Up next, we're going to have Gold Ambassador Holly Bass. Stephanie just told us a little bit about the gut overall. Holly's going to go a little bit into more detail about how our gut works and the leaky gut and that special C word that is in our probiotics. So, Holly, take it away.
Hi, I'm Holly Bass. I live in Little Rock, Arkansas. I want to talk to you about a couple of things that Tina Cope shared at this gut health training that we were all at. One thing is that she has a 30-day food combining plan that I actually purchased at this seminar, and it's just full of recipes, and even just down to it irons out 3 meals a day for the whole 30 days. And it's a great way to jumpstart your clean eating journey if you're interested in doing that. I loved it. I am not a crunchy granola girl, and I was able to find all the ingredients in Kroger. So I was very pleased with that. I could pronounce everything. I'd heard of everything. So anyway, that's a really great thing to try if you're interested. And then she's also got a Facebook group called Your Health is Priceless. And she actually posts every Wednesday a menu for a week that is based off of Kroger's weekly sales ads. So that's another, and she also is posting other health tips and exercise tips and everything. So that's a really great resource I have come to love too. I want to go over first, and please forgive me, I'm sitting outside because my house is getting a new roof today, and I thought it would be quieter out here than underneath it, but so that's what you're hearing if you can hear all the noise. I want to highlight just a more extensive list of diseases and conditions that can be caused from your poor gut. I'm just going to read these, and then I'm going to get on with the rest of what I was going to talk about. Stephanie hit on these a little bit, but here are some more. So obesity, type 2 diabetes, asthma, mental disorders like anxiety and depression, heart disease, cancer, autoimmune disease, insomnia, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, arthritis, fatigue, just aches and pains, allergies, mood swings, bad breath, body odor, and eczema. So those it's a more extensive list, and if any of that rings a bell, then this may be something you really need to tune into. Okay, I want to talk today about the bad guys versus the good guys. And the bad guys are the fungus and yeast. And actually, many scientists believe that yeast's purpose in your body is to decompose your body when we die. So that's actually a good thing. So yeast is really harmless unless it becomes overgrown. And yeast can feed on dead matter, waste, sugar, and stress even. So all those things we're going to talk about how to balance them and keep those under control today. Now, when yeast starts to mutate, it goes from a single cell organism to a 2-cell organism, and it forms an exoskeleton. And that makes me think about gross bugs, but it forms an exoskeleton called chitin. And so that makes it really strong and really hard to penetrate. And it also can develop tentacles, and those tentacles can hook onto your gut. And those are the holes that Stephanie was talking about, and that's where the leaky gut gets started. And when that intestinal wall is compromised, its ability to absorb nutrients is diminished. And obviously that is not what we need to happen, since I'm sure if you're like me, we are probably short on nutrients as it is. So there are substances that are harming our intestinal flora. One is antibiotics, and I know that a lot of times when we go to the doctor, first thing they do is prescribe us an antibiotic, which a lot of times that's necessary. But if you get too much of that in your body, that can really affect your flora. Actually, if you have been on more than 3 rounds of antibiotics in the last year, there's a good chance that your intestinal flora has been compromised. Also, other things that are harmful are chemicals, preservatives, and pesticides, and that all is found in a lot of our conventional foods. Overuse of ibuprofen and Aleve, and there are more studies that they're being done on this to prove that. Lack of vital nutrients, and that's coming from too much processed foods. And then finally, sugar. And the yeast is actually stealing our glucose. So all of those things are harmful to our intestinal flora. And you know the saying, we are what we eat. We are not really what we eat. We are what we absorb. So we need to be focusing on what our body is taking in. So those are the bad guys. And I want to turn the focus now to the good guys. And there are actually 3 stages that these good guys are going to appear in. And the first stage is the cut stage. The cut stage, you should allow 30 to 60 days. And that is just to cut out the junk. The closer to the 60-day mark you can make it, the better. It gives your body more time to completely get rid of all those things. And this is where Plexus Slim is going to enter the party. So things we need to be cutting out are the things that are harmful, like sugars, grains and dairy, especially if you are dealing with inflammation or migraines, chemicals and pesticides, stress. I know that's a tough one. and ibuprofen. And if you're taking ibuprofen because you're experiencing a lot of headaches, we need to look at why those headaches are occurring. Ask yourself 3 questions. Are you dehydrated? Are you maybe not getting enough water? Are you eating enough? Are you eating well enough, good enough food? And are you getting enough rest? All of those things can contribute to extensive headaches. So if you are having to take a lot of ibuprofen for headaches, ask yourself those 3 questions and try to make some healthy changes. Now, the beauty of Plexus Slim is in the ingredients. The alpha lipoic acid is a very powerful antioxidant. It can break down carbs, it restores vitamin C, and it turns it into energy. So those are really, really, really great things. And I'm learning more and more about the benefits of vitamin C for all different kinds of things in your body, not just when you're trying to fight off a cold. Another very powerful antioxidant in Slim is chlorogenic acid. And chlorogenic acid is just something that is found in broccoli, peas, Brussels sprouts, spinach, and organ meats, which honestly I don't get much of. But so 2 very powerful antioxidants there. And then we've got chromium. Chromium is a really great ingredient that stabilizes your blood sugar. And Plexus Slim as a whole stabilizes your blood sugar. So keeping that balance helps you get everything else under control a lot. So that is why it's very important to, first of all, cut out all the junk, and then we can move on to the next stage, the kill stage. The kill stage is where our ProBio 5 comes in. There's a really great book I recommend called Clean Gut. Check that book out. It goes into a lot of great detail about the importance of probiotics and getting all that junk out of your body. Now, if you're wondering what sets our ProBio 5 apart from other probiotics, because I've heard a lot of people are curious, well, I already take a probiotic. Well, our ProBio 5 actually contains, of the top 5 enzymes, our ProBio 5 contains 3 of them. It contains, and forgive me, I'm not going to pronounce this right, chitosanase, which actually breaks through the exoskeleton of the yeast, that chitin that we were talking about earlier. This actually bores a hole in the chitin and allows other enzymes to come in and kill that yeast. Otherwise, that strong chitin with that exoskeleton on there would just stay there. And we're not going to be able to get rid of it otherwise. So that's why our ProBio 5 is so crucial to this kill stage, to kill off this yeast. ProBio 5 also includes vitamin C and vitamin B6, and it's got grapeseed extract in it, which is another really, really awesome ingredient. And then the third stage in this process is the clean stage. And if you haven't guessed it yet, this is where our BioCleanse comes in. And when that yeast dies off, y'all, it can release up to 75 known toxins. And that can cause gas, bloating, headaches. Does any of that sound familiar? Anybody started the triplex and have got off of it because of these things? Well, guess what? That's your detox. And if that is happening, you know that you're releasing those toxins and you're flushing that out of your body. That is a very, very good thing. So if you know someone that's complaining about that, please, please encourage them to stick with it and stay on the triplex. This is just a phase. It's going to pass through, and when it's over, everything is going to start ironing out and your life will change. So gas, bloating, and headaches are actually a good thing for the first time ever. And now BioCleanse actually helps. It's got some good ingredients in it also. Magnesium. Magnesium controls your blood pressure. It strengthens your bones, and it reduces that inflammation that Stephanie was talking about earlier. Vitamin C, again, also a very vital ingredient. And this was a new one for me, microencapsulated oxygen. What this does is it actually allows the oxygen to be released into your bloodstream. And guess what can't live in oxygen? Fungus. So you get that oxygenated bloodstream going on, and the fungus just can't survive. So it's kind of a double punch there for the yeast. So the bottom line is to just be slow and steady. Be consistent with your Plexus products. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Eat whole foods and cut out those processed foods. If you're already eating clean, that's great. If you're not, again, I recommend that 30-day food combining meal plan that Tina Cope has out. And rest, as hard as it is to think about resting, as busy as we are, even if you can just manage 15 minutes a day, to do whatever helps you recharge, whether maybe it's reading a book, maybe it's just laying in a dark room and closing your eyes, or listening to music, or taking a walk. You have got to find a time to just take a few minutes out of your day every day to recharge, reduce your stress, and then just remember to be patient and be gentle on your body. This has been an ongoing battle your body has been fighting probably for years. So it's very important that you give your body the time it needs to get back on track. So that's all I have, the good guys versus the bad guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Holly. I was just like completely glued to all of that. So what you're saying is there is a cut stage where we need to cut out a lot of the junk that we are ingesting on a daily basis. And then the Plexus Slim can help with that.
Absolutely.
And then there is a kill phase where we're going to start killing the excess yeast, which is where the ProBio 5 comes in. It's like the killer, right? And then the clean phase is where the BioCleanse comes in, because he's going to start cleaning it all out. That's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Isn't that called like the triplex or something like that?
Yeah, I think I've heard something like that before. Triplex. It's amazing. That was really, really good information. Thank you so much, Holly. I know that a lot of people are going to feverishly writing down everything you've said, so I really appreciate it. Okay, we have Sonia Etchemendy, Gold Ambassador, coming up. Holly told us a little bit about the triplex just now, and Sonia is going to go into more detail about the triplex, how to take it properly, and again, how it's going to help us with our overall gut health. She's going to go over a couple of things from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and she's just got some really good information to share. So Sonia, come on up so we can see you, and take it away.
Hey everybody, I'm excited to talk about gut health with all of you and the triplex. Let me tell you, I checked with the U.S. Census Bureau. We have 318 million people just in the United States. 70 million of those people suffer from digestive diseases, which is costing us over $100 billion in medical cost. This is huge, and it's been around for a long time. If you don't remember what Stephanie said in the beginning when gut health was first discovered, go back and listen to that. It's been around for a long, long time. The CDC tells us that chronic diseases, which is what we've been talking about, are the leading cause of death and disability in the United States. They are among the most common cause
Okay, we might have lost Sonia. Let me see if I can get her back real fast, because I really want to know what she was about to say. Let's see. I'm messaging her right now.